Greetings, score users. This is the third BJ demo, and in this one, I'm going to show you how you can get varying amounts of space with the HS routine in bg.exe. And let's do an HS where we're going to put extra space above the violin 1, above soprano, above the timpani, and then above the piano. Now, as we've been doing it up to this point, everything has been spread evenly, and this time we're going to create purposefully uneven spacing, but in a very controlled fashion. So let's make it such that the even spacing we get everywhere else is going to be doubled here, above the violin, above the soprano, above the timpani, above the piano. So what we're going to do is we're going to set P14 of the staff in question, of the staves in question, to 2. So here I'm setting the violin staff so that P14 is 2. That means it's going to get twice as much of the minimum, white, this ideal white space than the other staves will get. And same thing for soprano staff, set that to 2. And then for the timpani as well, 2. And up here, 2. Okay, so now, if I now run VJ and set the HS to 7, and then call it the file again, then once again VJ froze the space here because of this low note, but look, the space above the violin part is now twice the space here, here, and here, and so on. In fact, you can see the whole page. It's even clearer in that display. So that's great, but do we always want to double the standard space? We might want to have slightly less than twice. We might want to have 1.5 times. We might even want to have less than what is found elsewhere. Well, the idea is that VJ takes the P14 value of 0 to actually mean 1. So there's an implied P14 of 1 everywhere on this page, unless we happen to set one of the P14s to some non-zero number or non-1 number. So let's see what happens if we change these P14s to some other values. Let's do this. Just for the fun of it, let's set the P14 of the viola to 1.5. It'll be interesting to see what happens there. Let's change this to 0.5, so it'll be half of the standard space above the violin 1. Let's change the P14 of the soprano to 1.5, above the timpani to 2, well, that's where it is right now, and then above the piano, let's change it to 3. So we have a lot of different proportionally larger spaces that we're going to create. So once again, we VJ, boom, and then now we run bg.exe, and we're changing the height to 7, and then we go back into score, and boom. Now what has happened here? Well, we have these gaps, right? Well, here's the standard white space right here, because that's the P14 of 0, which is also 1. But here, we set the P14 to 3. This white space is 3 times the white space of this. Here we set the P14 to 2. So this white space right here is twice the size of this. And it truly is. And here, this is 1.5, so that's 1.5 of that. And then here, this one's even less. Why is it less than the white space? Because we set the P14 to 0.5. So it's going to be half of the standard space. Now, we set the viola to 1.5, but the 1.5 is equal to this space up here, right? Which is less than the amount of space that is being consumed already. So, once again, bg.exe didn't put any additional space here because it was already being consumed. And the HS is exactly what we asked it to be. It's 7. So with P14, you can actually specify different amounts of space to be secured between choirs of instruments. So this is very helpful for making the score parse, visually to, to the conductor, so it can easily see where the woodwind section is and where the brass section is and where the strings are, just by putting additional space between the choirs. And by using P14, setting it to 1.5 or 1.666 or 2 or something like that, you can have this nice little additional spread, and it will be done proportionate to, the basic white space that you're getting where the P14s are 0 elsewhere. Okay, and in the next tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can prevent an expansion between two staves beyond a certain point, so that BJ doesn't stretch it any greater than a certain amount. And over and out.